Okay, so I'm talking specifically to the guys out there on this one. Ladies, you're welcome to stick around. You might get a kick out of this. But dudes, if you were to see this book on the shelf, you'd walk right past it. I mean, look at this thing. The Poet Empress by Shen Tao. Gorgeous cover. It's got texture to it. Gilded edges. Look at these end pages. And the naked hardcover. It is one of the most beautiful books I own. Absolutely gorgeous. And if you're like me, you'd see this in the bookstore and think, oh, yeah, cute book. Romantasy. Nah, not for me. I mean, the title, the cover, the vibe, everything about this book screams romantasy. That's wrong. We've all heard you can't judge a book by its cover. In this case, I mean that quite literally.
Joe's probably reading.
So here's what happened to me. I saw this at Barnes & Noble. I don't have any really beautiful books. And I saw this one, and I'm like, man, that is gorgeous. And yeah, I thought it was romantasy, but I looked it up on Amazon, and it described it as dark fantasy and horror. That kind of surprised me, and I saw that it had high ratings. I hadn't read any romance books, and I've always dissed them, so I thought, why not? I'll give it a try. And yeah, I'm not exaggerating. There are some genuinely horrifying moments in this book, disturbing ones. There's even a content warning at the front of the book. Please be advised that this book contains depictions of physical and sexual violence, which includes physical and sexual abuse of minors and torture, substantial alcohol use, and violence committed by intimate partner. Readers sensitive to these elements, please read with care. That's pretty serious. It's literally published under Tor's romance imprint, Bramble. Usually if you see Bramble on the spine, you can be pretty sure it is romance. And even the author is pushing back on that. She did an interview with Publishers Weekly where she said she was surprised that it ended up on Bramble because she did not consider it a romance at all when she wrote it. And one thing she said really grabbed me. She deliberately took the story in the opposite direction that a romantasy would go. She wanted to write a book where a young woman was abused by a man, finds out about his traumatic past that explains his behavior, and then specifically does not forgive him for it. That's not romantasy. That's the author staring the genre in the face and saying, watch this. So here's my pitch to the dudes out there. Forget the cover. Forget the marketing. Here's what this book's actually about. It's court politics. Brutal, knives in the dark court politics. If you vibed with Game of Thrones, if you tore through the Poppy Wars, if She Who Became the Sun is on your shelf, you're the audience for this book. The comparisons that keep coming up are the Poppy Wars, She Who Became the Sun, and The Daughter of the Empire. That's the neighborhood we're in. Grimdark, political, unflinching. So the magic system called literomancy is where poetry is magic. Words have power, and the most powerful spell in the book is one that you need to understand the person you're writing it for intimately. And in this case, the person who's writing the poem is writing it for the man she wants to kill. That is a killer hook. Pun intended. And the villain. Oh, the villain. I hated this dude. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the way this book handles the antagonist is one of the most fascinating character studies I've ever read. You get the backstory and flashbacks. You start to understand how he became what he became. You even start to feel sorry for him. But the book absolutely refuses to let that understanding turn into forgiveness. It is basically a literary study in how to create a monster, and it's riveting. I want to stay intentionally vague here because I don't want to ruin anything for you, but I have to say something about the character work. Our lead, her arc is not what you think it's going to be. I went in expecting a certain type of heroine journey, and got something much more complicated and way more surprising. Nobody in this book is cookie cutter. Nobody takes the predictable path. Every time I think I knew exactly what a character was going to do, I was wrong. This alone is worth the price of admission for this book. Okay, one gripe. It's a small one. Given the title, The Poet Empress, and given that poetry is literally the magic system in this book, I was expecting a lot of poetry. There's some. It's sprinkled in there. And what's there is quite beautiful. But I wanted the book to really indulge in the poetry, to let me read the spells. If I'm being honest, I came in thinking that poetry was going to be front and center. It was going to be the main course. And it was just a seasoning in the book. That's my biggest critique. It's a small one. The story is strong enough that it didn't wreck anything for me. And, because I'm a dude, I'll get over that. So look, if you're a guy and you're a fantasy reader and you've been scrolling past this book or walking past it at the bookstore because the cover is so pretty and you just think it's not for you, I'm here to tell you absolutely is. This is dark fantasy. It's political. And it's brutal and beautiful in the best way possible. Just know what you're getting into. It's not a comfort read. It is not a love story. It is, as the author herself said, deliberately the opposite of a love story in a lot of ways. Check the content warning and go in with open eyes. But go in. The Poet Empress by Shen Tao, 5 stars, easily. One of my favorite books of the year. Maybe one of my favorite books of all time. Don't judge a book by the cover. Seriously. And let me know in the comments what you think. And if you read it, were you as blindsided as I was? That ending, man. See you next time. Keep reading.